Hello, welcome back everyone. Thank you for joining our third podcast. Today we have a special guest.
Hello everyone, my name is Angela and I'm one of the nurses here at Sacramento Life Center. Thank you, Tiffanie, for inviting me. I'm happy to be here and very happy to talk about the beautiful gift of adoption.
Great. So let's just start off what is your role here at Sacramento Life Center?
Yes, I am a registered nurse. I've worked here for about 5 years, but I've been a nurse for much longer than that.
Yeah.
I've worked with lots of moms and babies and families over the years, but I've been blessed to work here the last 5 years with a kind of a personal mission, joined with the mission of the Life Center to promote healthier options for women in unsupported pregnancies. So Tiffanie, tell me, you yourself, do you know anyone adopted or anyone who has chosen adoption?
So I do. I have a family member. I won't disclose names because I'm not sure if they're comfortable with that. But I do have someone who struggled with having her own child. And a child was actually, it's like God placed her in her lap. She started out with fostering and then she ended up adopting her. And she's an amazing little girl. So she's had her for 7 or 8 years.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I knew 2 children in my class who were adopted, but it never occurred to me to ask about it. I just knew their adoptive parents as their mom and dad, and that's it. So it wasn't until much later in my life did adoption become a bigger issue.
Okay. And so I wanted to just ask you, what are the benefits of adoption for you?
There's lots of benefits for adoption, but I feel that adoption benefits 3 parties. It benefits the child because the child needs a home and needs a mother and a father. And it benefits the placing parent, the biological parent, because for some reason in their current state of life, they're unable to parent. And so that provides a solution to a temporary problem. And it also benefits the adoptive parents who can add another child to their family, who maybe have a lot to offer and have not had other children. And it helps the siblings and part of that family to have siblings.
So Angela, what are the most common reasons people adopt?
Well, the most common reason that biological parents think about adoption for their children is because they're in a place in their life at this present moment where they're unable to parent, where there are various factors that for this moment prevent them from really being the type of parent they would want to be.
Okay. And for the
adoptive parents, many reasons. Probably mostly that they would like an additional child or they would like a child. But perhaps, and I would, speaking for myself, that they would like to parent or that they feel they have a lot to give and a lot to offer and that there is a need.
Okay. And what are some of the most common misconceptions that people think about adoption?
There's probably a handful, but the ones that come to mind would be, number one, that people think the biological parent, the mother, does not want the baby. That would be the biggest misconception. These women who choose adoption, they want their babies very much. It is very painful to place your child up for adoption. It's like cutting off a limb and giving that limb to someone else. But it's a noble choice and a choice that gives life. So it's a wonderful choice, but there is suffering in it. And the second would be that adopted children are more difficult, that they come from bad circumstances, so you're opening up your life to chaos. I think that would be another misconception out there. Just like biological children, your children turn out in different ways than you ever expected, but they are human beings just like naturally born children to that family. So they will bring both sorrows and joys, but again, they are lovely and they are loved and they are loving like all children.
So coming from that standpoint, what do you think that we need to do as a community to help kind of open people up to the choice of adoption instead of another option?
That's a good question, Tiffanie. I think that we should talk about adoption more. It should be something that we learn about when we're children. This is a society that values disclosure and honesty and choices. Adoption is a very noble choice, as I said earlier. It's a life-affirming choice, and it should be brought up in the schools, it should be brought up in the homes, it should be brought up in the churches, and just like it's brought up here.
Yeah, it should be more normalized instead
Yes.
of kind of a hidden thing.
Kind of a hidden thing, secretive
Yeah.
thing. I think it kind of had a bad rap in the old days where everything was
Yes.
closed. But now there are different options with adoption. There are closed adoptions, yes, still some, but I would say the majority of adoptions are open, meaning that the biological parents have rights to see their child that they've placed, and they can form a relationship with that child, and it can last their lifetime.
Okay. And following up with that question, we know that it's hard to make a choice on telling the kids that they're adopted, what age to do that. Kind of like, I know people teeter-totter on the fact that should I tell them? What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that the children should know because, again, there's nothing bad about it being adopted. So to kind of hide it implies that there's a stigma or some secret that they shouldn't know. In our family, we always talked about adoption from the beginning, and we talked about the natural parents as being the first parents. So our girls, two of them, always grew up knowing that they had a first set of parents out there, and that they were free to know about them. Whatever I knew about them, I would share that with each child, whatever was age appropriate at the time, and so they've always known.
That's great. I feel like
I hope it was the right decision. I think it
Yes.
was. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let's lead off of that with the misinterpretation of the finances. I know moms, when they want to give their baby up for adoption, there are financial needs and the stresses of that. So can you kind of explain the process of the finances?
I'll share with you what I know and what I
Okay.
understand to be true. For the birth mother, I prefer the biological mother as the term to call her. Before she places the child, sometimes she has this fear that she would have to pay for adoption or pay for the legal process to make that happen. That is totally 100% untrue.
Okay.
Adoption expenses, and there are several, are paid for by the potential adoptive parent.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
So any legal fees, any needs that this young woman might have in her pregnancy as far as housing, food, medical issues, that's covered 100% by the a potential adoptive family.
I feel like that's really important for people to know.
It's
because
very
a lot of
important.
people that most of the time the reasons for the adoption is to give the baby a better life because financially they're not ready. Most of the time is my understanding. So I feel like it's important for mothers out there to know that they do get help through the process.
Yes.
With finances and
That is true.
support and
One thing I would
expenses.
add to that is it isn't always financial reasons that a woman would consider placing her child. Most often I would say that there's other issues. Perhaps the biological father has abandoned her and she's totally alone. She does not have family support. There might be a substance issue or a mental health issue that prevents her from working. Maybe she has lost children to a system beforehand and sees that happening again and is trying to prevent that happening to her child. So there are many reasons, many different reasons.
To 1,000 people gathered in this room in Sacramento, and I hope you are looking around and realizing what is taking place here in this room tonight.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our goal is lofty, our challenge is great.
Heavenly Father, with grateful hearts, we once again gather for the Life Center Gala. We're offering real alternatives to abortion. Help us, Father, not to get discouraged in our diverse efforts to reduce abortions in California. Bless, O God, the competent and dedicated staff of the Sacramento Life Center. We bless those who have worked so diligently to prepare this night's gala event.
So what is the stigma around adoption?
I was surprised to learn in our cases how the women felt that other women were judging them for choosing adoption. There doesn't seem to be that stigma with abortion, And there does not seem to be that stigma with single parenting, but there is that stigma around adoption. How could you place your child with someone else to raise? And I try to explain, from getting to know the biological mothers in my daughter's cases very well, that that for them, it was like they were on the Titanic at that time. They had so many things happening in their lives, and they were sinking. They were sinking, and they were near the bottom.
Okay.
And so they had this baby that was coming, and they had to save that baby. They were going to drown, but they had to save that baby. So they gave that baby to the first person or couple that looked nice because on that ship, because there was hope there, and there was a chance that that baby would have a life.
I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah, so coming off of that, I think that we need to eliminate the stigma for our future generations so that adoption is more of an option for families out there.
Yes, more of an option for these women and these crisis pregnancies and these potential adoptive parents.
Yeah, so there is another way. There's not only one choice out there. There's other options, and to me, this is a great option. Adoption is amazing to me. To be an adoptive parent, to give the baby up for adoption, I mean, those are two great and hard choices. So here at Sacramento Life Center, when a woman is considering adoption, what are the next steps for her in the process?
Thanks for asking that, Tiffany, because that's something a lot of people need to know what to do. So we try to hold their hands through it by giving them at first. I like to give them 3 phone numbers. 3 phone numbers from reputable agencies that we have kind of gleaned information from and believe that they are supportive to our mothers.
Okay.
So if they'd like, I ask them if they would like help to place the first phone number, to call that first person. And I remind them that these phone calls are not like a bind. They're not obligated to go through with it. They're just information seeking.
Got it.
So again, we start with the phone numbers. And then the adoption agencies take over from there. They talk about the resources that the agency, through the potential adoptive parents, would help assist them with, if it's a housing issue, if it's a recovery issue, if it's food for their other children, those kind of things to keep them stable during the time of the pregnancy and immediately after the birth of the child.
How long is the process when it comes to adoption? Does it vary?
It varies,
Okay.
yes. One would hope that it's relatively short in my experience. The whole process, one of them took about a year. Yes, the other a little bit longer. But the child was with us since the day they were born.
Okay.
So it wasn't like we weren't with the child. It just takes the time to go through the legal processes as regards adoption. But again, those attorneys are paid for by the adoptive parents. The prospective birth mother does not pay any of those fees. In fact, she's even supported in having her own attorney through the process so that her needs are met and her voice is heard.
So what would you say for women that are potentially watching this video that are feeling stuck or feel like it's like a hush-hush thing to talk about when it comes to adoption and they're scared and they want help, but they don't know how to reach out? What would you say to them?
I would say come on in, ask about it. Usually I bring it up at almost all of my visits where a patient is leaning towards abortion as an alternate choice. Know that it is a scary feeling. That's natural to be scared, that there are people that will help hold your hand through the process, that they are not alone, they are not the first one to go through this, that they are braver than they think they are stronger than they think they are, and that they can do this, they can make this noble choice. I won't guarantee that they won't have sorrow, but I can guarantee that through an open adoption and a legal contract, they will have rights to see that child over the years, and the children will have rights to know her.
What is the most rewarding part about your job here at Sacramento Life Center?
That I have an opportunity, a privilege actually, to speak with many young women facing huge dilemmas, to hold their hand, to show them a picture of my children who were adopted, show them how beautiful my children are, that these young women have beautiful children inside them, and that there is hope for that life.
Okay, that's
That there is
great.
hope for that life.
Is there something that's here that is hard? It's really heavy when it comes to the alternative side of that?
Many women come here leaning towards abortion. Most of the time, they change their mind, but not every time. And so you carry that, and that is hard.
Yes.
Since 1972, Sacramento Life Center's Community Health Clinic has been committed to ensuring that all women, especially those that are facing an unplanned pregnancy, have access to free medical care, support, and resources. Over 2,000 women are served each year, regardless of race, income, religion, insurance, or immigration status, thanks to the financial support of private individuals. For more information, please go to saclife.org.
So what was your inspiration to work here?
Well, as I said earlier, that I've been a nurse for a long time. I worked in private hospitals, and then I worked for the government. Anyone having worked in the government and in the private sector kind of know that their voices are limited with what they are able to say and what they are not able to say. I felt that as a nurse, even though I was talking about life issues all the time, it was really discouraged to talk about life. To talk about the promotion of life. So I was not yet ready to retire and give up being a nurse, but I wanted something more life-affirming. So my parents had been donors for years to this organization. I knew about this organization when I was in high school, and so it was always in the back of my mind. So when I decided that I've had enough of making good money but not being able to share the good news of life, I looked for something else, and there was an opening here.
So Angela, are there any last words that you wanted to say about adoption?
I would like to say what a wonderful thing adopting 2 children has been for me and for my husband and for our extended family, for the grandparents, for the cousins, for the siblings. I want to thank the birth mothers of our 2 daughters. They were brave, they were noble. We pray for them daily.
That's great. So thank you everyone for tuning in on our 3rd podcast. Thank you, Angela, for joining us today and opening up about the adoption process.
Thank you.
Make sure you like and subscribe. If you have any questions or want us to talk about anything, comment below. Until next time, thank you for joining us.
Like and subscribe. Sacramento Life Center, embracing lives one pregnancy at a time. For more information, go to saclife.org.